You know, they say these Appalachian mountain ranges are among the oldest mountains in the world. They were as high peaks as the Rockies at one time, but weather's wore them down. But oh, ain't they beautiful. And I've spent most of my life in these old mountains, one way or another. Just seeing the beautiful hardwood, listening to nature, all the beautiful birds, animals. Even captured some rare glimpses of some nice wildlife in these mountains over the years. And some things I've caught on camera that I can't explain. To this day, I've even made videos on it. But oh, these mountains are so wonder and mysterious. There's things in these mountains that man thinks he understands, but never will. And after it gets dark, these old beautiful mountains, they seem to change. You get a sense and feeling in some places. And too many witnesses over the years have seen things that shouldn't be there. But everybody say, oh, there's no such thing. But way too many people have caught glimpses of something that didn't want to be seen, just passing through. So I'm going to share with you a few little encounters, stories. These old mountain boys, they've spent their whole life in these mountains, and they've seen and heard things that they couldn't explain either. I managed to get up into my home country here a few days ago and meet up with an old friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a few years. His name is Bigfoot. Ain't that coincidental? But that's what he's always been known as. His old nickname was Bigfoot, and I worked in these mines with him for 20 years. And me and him had done a lot of hunting and a lot of fishing together over the years. But as time would have it, we got apart. But I got back with him, and we talked all day on the back porch, all day long. And he got to tell me some old stories that I'd forgotten back when he was young, but I thought I'd share a couple of them with you. Some of his encounters in these mountains. Now, he was born and raised in these hollers in these mountains, and this is all he ever knows, is in the mountains one way or another. So he's just like me. He either worked in the mountains and the mines, or he's hunting and fishing. So I'm going to share with you a couple of his little stories. Bigfoot used to tell me a story about growing up. Your dad and your family went back here in Tackett Creek here, back what they called no business. Indians was camping and hunting, and a bunch of panthers come in on you. You want to tell that story?
Yeah. We went over there and was camping out, digging ginseng. Late that evening, me and my buddy went down to the creek and was fishing. And my dad had cooked supper, and they was up there in the fire. It kind of died down to ashes. We was down there fishing, and we had a carbide light. And we heard something, and I looked around, and there were two big eyes looking at us. Like scared my buddy to death, and my dad and his buddy was up there, and they went to squalling, get away, get away, get away from here, get away from me. And me and my buddy wheeled with that carbide light and run back up through there towards them, and whatever it was, run away. And we went, it started raining on us. We went back up the creek, found a cliff, and got under it. Built us up a fire. All night long, my dad and his buddy shot at eyes coming over us. And the next morning, we went down to look, see what that was out of them. We'd find the tracks, and we did. And it's a big, whatever it was, they were scooting the leaves on the hill. Like scared us all to death. And then a big rattlesnake got out of me. And my dad finally shot his. We didn't stay down there no week, I'll tell you that right now. We got out of whatever them critters was out of us. We didn't know if it was a big panther or bobcat or what it was, but it was big, whatever it was. And it scared us all. And my dad and his buddy weren't scared of nothing. They all had guns. But we still left there in a hurry. And that ended that story.
Well, what color were their eyes, if they noticed?
Big red eyes looking at you is all I can tell you. You could see them, but you couldn't see what they was. You could see their eyes was shining at you. And his big red eyes, it had to be a panther or something, or a mountain lion or something. Because where them things would walk, come off that hill, we was right down at the bottom of the big hill, and they'd come off that hill, and they'd scooted the leaves where they'd stepped.
Yeah.
And them leaves scooting them. So it had to be a big, it's either a big old mountain lion or a big panther or something. But people have been seeing panthers over there.
Well, was that two of them or more than two?
They was more than, and one was looking at me. I mean, they was one pretty close to me and Peanut Brown. And was looking right at us. All I could see that light, you could see his eyes, but you couldn't see what he was.
Couldn't see the figure.
No, but they shot at them all night long, baby.
And they kept coming back.
They wouldn't run off, they'd just come back. Because there them eyes would be again. Come back. And it was animals, but.
What years was that?
I don't know.
60s? 50s?
No, it was probably in the 50s.
50s?
Yeah. Because I was just a boy. I was probably 14 or 15 years old.
And you're 80 years old now.
I'm 80 years old now. I still remember that.
Yeah. You don't never forget stuff like that, do you?
God. Hey, when you're a boy, that scares you. I'll tell you that right
Oh, yeah.
now.
You remember stuff like that.
I was afraid that thing, whatever it was, I believe they fried meat that evening there on that farm. They fried potatoes and meat, and I don't know what all we had to eat, but I know they fried some meat. And they was smelling that. I guarantee you what brought them
Come in
there.
there.
Yep.
Never did hear them make a squalling noise or nothing?
No. But whatever it was, they was wanting some meat, I believe. They was wanting.
He's going to get some lead, wasn't he?
Yeah. And we stayed there, buddy, the next night, I believe, and we left there.
Didn't want to stay there no more.
Dad said, we're getting out of here. And because them things down there like that. Well, me and Runt Mize and Alt Wilburn was down there one night, was going to gig us some bullfrogs.
Yeah. Me
and Runt went up the creek, on each side of the creek, away in the creek now with a gig of these, with gigging them. And you can see their eyes, their little bitty beanie looking eyes sitting on the bank looking at you. We started up to the buddy and something run through the creek behind me. What it was, but it was big. Scared me about half to death. And I said, Runt, I'm going back down yonder camp to get the truck. And I went down and Arthur was sitting in the truck. I said, what's wrong with you, Arthur? He said, we'd done the same thing, fried some bacon and stuff there that evening on the farm. And I said, I don't know what it was, but said there was a big set of eyeballs walked right up here looking at me. So I said, let me cut this light off and see if it'd come back. Just sit here and be real quiet. We're sitting in Run's truck. Whatever it was, when it got pretty close to us, Arthur flipped that light on and caused it to run off again. I couldn't see what it was. I wanted him to leave it. I let it walk out there, where I could see it. But never did get, all I could see was its eyeballs.
But it was on 4 legs, right?
It was on 4 legs,
Huh.
and he was looking for supper too. Arthur was a nice looking supper, you know.
Yeah.
He locked himself and runs the truck.
Smelled that bacon's what they did.
And you think that's something? Me and Sam Shelton and Jerry Osmus went to Lone Mountain squirrel hunting. Went up on that mountain. Went over on the other side down there to the lake and went up on that mountain. And when you're up on the top, he's looking right off in that boat dock down there, Straight Creek or Straight Branch. That's where we was at, up on that mountain on the back side of it from that boat dock. And there's a big ivy thicket went around here. I went around that way at even squirrel hunting. And when I come back, you had to come right through a big thicket, but the road, you could walk on the road down through there. And we had a tent set up, that old big tent I had. And we had a tarp set up across the road, a big tarp, and had a table under it and chairs and a cook stove where we could cook her. We cooked supper there that evening. Buddy, when it got just about plumb dark, something cut loose a squalling. I never heard a growling in my life. I looked at Jerry Almus, and I'm not lying you, his hair was standing up. Scared him to death. And I got to looking for my shotgun, and he was sitting down there again, that tent across the road. And he squalled there all how many times. Sam got in my truck. I had my truck up there. He got in my truck. Me and Jerry jumped up, finally went down there. I went there and got my shotgun. And I said, Sam, what are you doing in the truck? He said, I ain't getting out there. I don't know what that is, but I ain't getting out. He wouldn't get out there.
Was it?
I believe it was a bear.
Bear.
I'm thinking it was a bear, but buddy, it was growl. God almighty. And me and Jerry had to get in the tent and sleep at night. I laid my shotgun right there. I said, I told Jerry, I said, I don't know what that is. But if it comes down here and tries to get in this tent for me, I'm going to know, because I'm going to shoot this tent off pieces out of it. And the next morning we started squirrel hunting. That's the way I had to go.
Yeah.
Right back around through yonder to hunt. Jerry and Sam went the other way. I had to walk right through that big thicket. Baby.
See any sign?
Never seen a sign. But it was before daylight. I wanted to get around where I was going to hunt, you know. When the squirrels come, I wanted to be there. But I'll tell you one thing, I was nervous walking through that thicket, even with that shotgun in my hand.
There's nothing better than sitting around to these old mountain men, listening at their stories. A lot of people think we're just crazy, seeing things, don't know what we're talking about. But how you tell somebody that's 80, 90 years old and worked and lived their whole life in these old mountains, raised up from a baby, all the time in these mountains, and you gonna tell them that they don't know what they're looking at or what they've seen or heard? Personally, I've seen some weird stuff and heard some weird stuff, and I try to share on these little videos. But there's things in these mountains that we still do not know what they are. And I don't care what anybody tells you, that will never change in all my days. And a lot of other guys will contest to the same thing. So I hope you enjoyed these little stories of mysteries of these mountains. There's a lot to be explained. So I want to thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time.